The RuneScape economy is always doing strange things, but I left for a month, all of February, and to come back to whatever the hell this is. In 2024, the RuneScape economy has changed so much because we're just getting so much change in the game, from Varlamore to multiple different project rebalancing changes into the plethora of content updates we are constantly getting. The economy is changing a lot, so let's take a look at what is going on this month. Well, one thing that's kind of hard to ignore is an item I've talked about before, but now it has reached unheard of levels, and that is the Christmas cracker. Look at this item, it's going for 2 mil right now, which is insane. If you look at the last year, it was hovering around 100k, and now it has gone up 20 times in value in just the last 3 months or so. Now, the reason that these Christmas crackers have any value at all really comes down to gambling. Because you can use a Christmas cracker on another player in game and get a random effect, that being you get a random party hat, people can use this for in-game gambling. So people who are running these games of chance are willing to pay money for it, but why are they 2 mil? Well, you can see ever since 2021, they've retained a decent amount of value, and nowadays, even after Christmas, when Jagex spawns all of the party hats and Christmas crackers, they didn't really drop that much. So I think overall the supply of Christmas crackers has been being used up, but that doesn't really explain why they've gone to 2 mil each. Well, it looks like in January there appears to be we can call it a community push to buy out the remaining stock of Christmas crackers and force the price upwards. The idea being that if bots need to buy these anyway, why not force the price up and make them pay a higher price, or stop doing it altogether? And if you look at the amount traded, they have drastically gone up in 2024. And so has the price. I mean, there's always a ticking time bomb because, you know, they get spawned for free in December, but that is a long ways off. And really it's down to Jagex to fix this or just let it explode like this. Now in the last month, another interesting thing that happened is actually to the Spectral Spirit Shield. You'll notice there's actually a pretty big jump at the end of February, where it went up from about 50 mil up to actually 70 mil plus. And what was this gigantic leap about? Well, there were some alleged Varlamore leaks, images and videos, and in it you could see the Spectral Spirit Shield being used. However, Jagex goes very much out of their way to discredit that, saying that the leaks are 100% not correct and not true. Now, because of that, the Spectral dropped a bit, but it's still, I don't know, it's still going upwards. Now, maybe that would have happened anyway, independent of these alleged leaks, but maybe people just don't believe Jagex either. That would be funny. Now, with Varlamore coming out so soon, the entire Oldschool Runescape market has been trending upwards. There hasn't been as many specific items I've noticed that have shot up in price, but there are a couple I think are directly related to the new updates. One that I've noticed has gone up a lot in the last couple of months is the Venator Bow, which has gone from 25 mil up to 60 mil, a massive price change, and I think it really comes down to speculations regarding the Colosseum. The Colosseum is going to be a new wave-based minigame, and I think based on the descriptions, people are thinking the Venator Bow could be good because it allows you to do AoE damage hitting multiple monsters with ranged. Now, a few other items that I think Varlamore has pushed upwards is tank armor, specifically just this year, which has gone up about 30% this week alone. I think this is because of the Perilous Moons update, which is going to be a new kind of Barrows Crypt-like minigame, but is going to heavily prioritize wearing tank gear. Now, whether just this year is going to be required or even best in slot, we're not 100% sure, but it is, of course, the tankiest armor. Also, the Elysian has gone up a fair bit, going up about 50 mil in the last week. Whether or not an Elysian would be anyway required for the Perilous Moons, I doubt it. Of course, day one, the high-end players are going to try out the content with what is best in slot, but for the everyday person, a Crystal Shield probably will be as effective. So we'll see whether these high-end armors are actually going to continue to go upwards from something like the Perilous Moons, but for now they are. Now, if we take a step back and take a very wide look at the Oldschool Runescape economy right now, a general vibe check, if you will, inflation is rampant. Everyday items have gotten way more expensive than they were even a couple years ago, and young families feel like their chance of ever owning a Twisto bow is slowly slipping through their fingers. Well, I'm really excited to be partnering with Rocket Money because I truly believe they can help people save money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you cancel subscriptions, lower bills, and manage your money better. Rocket Money allows you to not only track your expenses, but also create custom budgets, and you can even set alerts when you go over a specific category. This will allow you to analyze your spending habits, and this is the important part, you gotta actually reduce the unneeded expenses. You gotta do that, guys. Like for example, I checked my expenses last month and I had completely forgotten about a Minecraft server I'd been paying for over a year, but thanks to Rocket Money, I was able to easily identify the recurring charge and cancel it right within the app with just a few taps. Rocket Money has saved its users over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, so it definitely works, and I would highly recommend giving it a try. Simply go to rocketmoney.com/flipping or click the link in my description to get started for free. You can also unlock more features with Premium. Now, the Harmonized Orb is definitely another item that Varlamore is affecting pretty significantly. Looking at it, it's gone from 370 mil up to 500 just in the last month. Considering the Harmonized was down to 250 earlier this year, it's since doubled, a pretty significant increase, which I'm pretty sure would be attributed to speculation surrounding the Sunfire rune, which is going to be an upgraded fire rune that is coming with Varlamore. Would this in any way, shape, or form make it compete with the Tunic Shadow? I doubt it, but we'll kind of have to wait and see, I guess. Now, another item that has reached a very high point in the last month, the Guardian Boots. Now, for a while, we weren't really sure where the Echo Crystals were going to go. It was either going to be in the Guardian Boots or in the Odium Ward and other offhand items, but it looks like after the vote, Guardian Boots was the winner, and because of that, they shot up to over 10 mil each. Now, really the story of the last couple of months has been RuneScape's mega rare items. It's kind of hard to ignore. In 2024, the Twisted Bow hit a new all-time high of over 1.7 bill and nearly hit 1.8. If we look at the Tunic Shadow, it has fallen a bit, but it also reached a new high for the year of 1.5 bill. And finally here we have the Scythe, which is now well over 1 bill. Now, I think this really goes to show two things. One, there's a lot of gold inflation in RuneScape right now. Prices of everything have gone up a lot, and I don't think it's all entirely due to new content coming out, although the Colosseum and Varlamore are definitely pushing things upwards. But if you look, the Twisted Bow has been trending upwards ever since 2021. Really ever since this GE tax was introduced, actually. And I think even after Varlamore, if the Twisted Bow isn't used there, it'll continue to trend upward just because of how much gold is coming into this game. Now, this year alone, the Scythe has tripled in value due to speculation and some buffs as well. It's gone up so much that blood runes have actually for the first time increased in price beyond their what is essentially baseline price of 200. They went as high as 266 for the first time since 2022. Now, I think for the Scythe in particular, there's a lot of speculation about future content. Jagex has stated that they are going to make new content with the Scythe in mind, so they're going to try to make larger monsters or other situations where the Scythe will excel. Is that the Colosseum? Who knows? Honestly, we have no clue whether or not it's going to be primarily a melee challenge, a range challenge magic, how much each of these combat styles are going to play a part. But I think in particular with Varlamore, Jagex has done a pretty good job of keeping things pretty under wrap on what is going to be useful for the biggest area expansion we've had in years. And I'm really excited for Wednesday when we figure it all out. Okay, so moving on from PVM items, let's have a look at some other sections of the market. One that's interesting to me is actually Dragon Bones. They're up a lot. This quarter alone, nearly doubling. Now, Prayer is in hot demand right now, I think because of the God Alignment proposal. Now, originally we had the spellbook that was going to come with Desert Treasure 2, but that ended up getting scrapped, or I guess more accurately, revised, because the God Alignments are once again going to be new additional prayers, and I think because of that, the demand for leveling your prayer has gone up significantly as well. Dragon Bones are up to 4,000 each, and we're not even anywhere close to the prayer book coming out. Another interesting thing that happened this week is actually to Dynamite. It crashed from 500 to 200 in a matter of hours, thanks to the project rebalance for skilling. Now, unlike most project rebalances, a skilling rebalance isn't going to have as big an effect on specific items. Rework and agility isn't going to affect the economy too much, but Blast Mine is actually going to be changed, and Dynamite is going to be made a lot more easier to obtain when this update comes through. So of course, it dropped immediately, but then recovered pretty quickly as well. One item I just kind of have a laugh at right now is actually the Void Waker Blade. Yes, the Void Waker is dropping because of the looming nerf it's going to be receiving. But on top of that, the over farming of specifically Calvarion, I imagine, has caused the Void Waker Blade to drop to 5.5 mil, which is hilarious. I mean, it was a 40 mil item less than 6 months ago. Now it's dropped by like 90%. Now there's actually one new item that I think would be cool to have a look at, the Zombie Axe. Now the Zombie Axe was introduced with the Defender of Varrock quest, and is a new item that kind of sits in between the Dragon Scimitar and the Abyssal Whip. And surprisingly, it's actually kept its value at around 2 mil each, which I think really comes down to the drop rate. It's somewhat rare, I would say, 1 in 800, but it's also a very new item and probably will fall over the coming months. Another interesting item is Eclectic Implings, which went all the way up to 8,000 GP each during March. And this really just comes down to collection log completionists, but it's just getting obscene. 8,000 for a single Eclectic. That means to get one medium clue, you're looking at almost 200k, which is really expensive. I don't know how much you're making off mediums if you're doing it through Eclectics anymore. I mean, compared even back in September, they were half of that. At these price points, I don't know if they're worth buying unless you're purely going for collection logs. And of course, we have to check in with our old friend, the Oldschool Runescape bond. Now the growth has slowed down a bit, but I mean, I don't think we're ever going back to sub 10 mil bonds at this point. Maybe it'll dip below now and again, but just looking at the all-time view, it's not looking good. I think it's just going to continue going up. The amount of gold that's coming into this game is clearly immense, to the point where the price has doubled in the last year. A bond is a really good reflection of inflation in the economy, and if bonds have doubled, then probably that could explain why a lot of other items have increased that much as well. It's hard to tell. Am I becoming richer in this game, or am I just having a higher number that means nothing? Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for the market analysis this month. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.